Morning, everybody.
Good morning. We're back. Did you miss us? I hope you guys had a great day yesterday. Welcome to our little podcast here of Coffee Moments with Mike and Jay Glenda. We're happy that you're here. We hope you have your favorite beverage for the morning to join us and that you're going to start your day with us. It makes us really happy to know that we have that company to start our day with us. So here we go, to us and to everyone watching. So anyways, I wanted to talk to you about something.
Uh-oh.
I told you that my sister and and my friend, we're going to fly down to Florida, right? We always fly back and forth. And anyway, now I have to put my arm up here. Oh my goodness gracious. If anybody's just checking us for the first time, I had to have surgery for an arm injury, for a shoulder and arm injury. But anyhow, so I got a notification that like all these flights are canceled and everything's going crazy like that with the airlines. And all these airlines are going bankrupt nowadays. I'm like, are you kidding me? I hope I don't get stranded down there.
Spirit Airlines. I had read that they had Spirit Airlines had canceled a bunch of flights. They filed for bankruptcy for a second time. They've been canceling a lot of their flights. So you may want to check
Your flight.
your
So
flights.
I did check.
Yeah, because some people have been stranded, and a lot of airlines have agreements that if they have an overbooking problem, that they go to another airline, and that other airline will accommodate them. Well, Spirit Airline does not have that agreement, so a lot of people are being stranded because they don't have.
That's terrible. But if you're stranded, at least if you get stranded, hopefully, I hope that everybody has good luck for St. Patrick's Day coming up, and that if you are stranded on your way back home and not on your way to your like a vacation. Wouldn't that be terrible if like half your vacation was stuck just trying to get there?
Yeah.
That would be terrible. So I hope if anybody out there gets stranded, that you are getting stranded on your way back and not on your way there. But anyways, I checked and our flights are still good as far as today. And so I'm hoping that that doesn't change, but we were talking about that. So do you remember back in the day on the airlines, they would have like those the stewardesses had like the scarves and they were dressed to the nines, they still look really nice, but I like the old fashioned way they used to look. But I remember going to visit my aunt down in Florida when I was probably in middle school and in high school, and my parents would book our flights either around lunchtime or around dinner time, because if you were on a flight during those two times, they gave you like a meal, and they didn't change, like add the price, like how they add price for everything nowadays. They didn't increase the price. It was just whatever that it was. So you would get like a hot lunch, and they gave you like a TV dinner. It was like a full dinner. So my mom would always make sure when she was booking our flights, she booked them either at lunchtime or at dinner time so that we could get a meal. And nowadays things are just, they penny pinch you for everything, for luggage. And we used to, when we had a long flight, they would give us little pillows and blankets. And I didn't travel a lot as a kid, but we did a little bit. I went with my youth group to Colorado, and it was a pretty long flight. And they gave everybody like a little pillow and a little blanket on their seat. And the economy seats were decent. Like you could like put your seat back a couple inches and it wasn't a deal. And nowadays, God forbid, don't try to put your seat back. They don't really recline much anyway.
Well, that was the most irritating thing you could possibly have, is you're sitting I was an adult before I took my first flight.
Are you kidding me?
No. And
I didn't know that.
And someone could put their seat back and they're actually in your lap, and it's like, this is not acceptable. And so I'm glad that they don't
they only recline like what, an inch, if that.
We had gone to Hawaii recently, and Glenda told me that we're going to get it on a real big plane. I'm like, okay, I usually have never done that. It's always on the smaller planes. So anyways, we get on a plane, and it looks like a normal plane to me. And she said, no, it's usually
it's a big plane because we're going across the ocean, and I told them.
I said, they don't make 747s no more. And that's the one where you had 2 rows. And I said, they don't make them no more. So, and the stewardess.
I did ask the stewardess, was this the plane we're going to go on as we were boarding.
Yeah.
Because I was surprised. And she said, this is our biggest plane.
Yeah.
It wasn't big at all. Like, it was not big at all. Another thing is that did you ever see that they sell these things for airline travel, and you can like put them on, like, say you're sitting in front of me and I'm behind you. You can put them, they're like blockers. You put them on the front of your seat so that the person in front of you cannot recline your seat. You know, I don't know, you can't really recline an inch anyhow. But
the guy in front of me this time did, but that didn't bother me. Like an inch of that didn't bother me or that. But back in the day, it was like they were like,
they would really recline.
yeah,
They were
recline.
nice.
And how even, you know, the person that's reclining thought that was acceptable, that, you know, I guess they're comfortable and didn't really care. But I would do is, if I was going to take a long flight like that again, I'm going to get those headphones that cancel out most of the sound.
Why?
Because
It wasn't noisy.
yeah, you had some people that I couldn't believe that they talked
That loud.
that long. Like
I fall asleep on
it's
a
like
plane,
a 4 or
so
5 hour or 6 hour
that
flight.
was longer than that.
And they're just talking. I'm like, oh my god, you know, how could you possibly?
So
have that much
Mike's
to talk
tip,
about?
airline travel with Mike's tips are get yourself a pair of good headphones.
They
That is
sell them,
good
but
because
I
sometimes
was
you have
looking
kids,
at 'em.
babies that are crying because they have their ears hurt or something like
that's
that.
That's understandable.
I mean,
been
if
like
you're
you
trying
said,
to sleep.
and then I didn't hear it because I guess I was focused on the two people behind me. But Glenda said that there was some lady like 3 or 4 rows up that was snoring.
She fell asleep because I fall asleep on a plane. So I get on and I'm like out. Like I sleep usually always on a plane. And I'm a pretty deep sleeper, so I don't have to worry about like crying unless it's really loud. Like I can usually fall asleep. I grew up on top of a hill next to the train tracks, and my bedroom was in the back of the house, and it was on top of the hill where the trains ran all the time on the bottom of our hill. And I think I don't know, it just doesn't bother me. I can sleep through it. I think I'm just tuned, like that's the way I always was. So noises don't really bother me. But that lady, she fell asleep before me. And I was like, are you kidding me? She snored so loud. I don't think anybody else on the flight, if they were like me, were able to fall asleep because she was so loud. So yeah, maybe I'll get a pair of those headphone things too.
Yeah.
Noise canceling. They're going to think that we have, like, you know, some of the children have those because they get oversensitized. They should, I guess we're going to have them for adults now too.
Because usually,
us.
well, that would be a long flight. Since that's the first time I ever took a flight that long. I think that prior to that, the longest was maybe 2.5, 3 hours, maybe. But that was usually I always fall asleep, and I'm usually falling asleep probably before even takeoff. But it seems like whatever it is on a plane, it can make you sleep with no
And
problem.
another thing to do is to make sure that you take a little travel pillow and a lightweight blanket. I would never get on a flight without my little travel pillow and my lightweight blanket. Well, first of all, I need it because I like to sleep, but on a flight. But I just think that it just makes it more comfortable. I don't know. And you like to read on a plane? I
Yeah.
can't read. Like, people can't read in a car or like read directions in a car, like they get a headache or something like
Yeah.
that. And I don't know if people are that way on a plane too, but you're able to read on a plane no problem. I wouldn't even think to read on a plane. I do play games on my
Now
phone.
Glenda fell asleep, which was fine because I was reading and I was trying to get through this book, and then
He loves to read.
after a couple hours, she wakes up and then she gets chatty, and it's like
He was trying to finish his book.
I'm reading here, you know. but yeah, it's always
I wanna talk
interesting.
to you.
It's always interesting as far as plane travel, you know.
Yeah. So I don't know. How do you guys? What's your favorite way to travel? Is it by plane? Wait, what is there? Is this by air? There's a saying about that.
Well,
By sea, by air, by plane, by train, something like that. So I mean, I've never taken a train anywhere. I've taken a train ride, but I've never taken a train to get to a destination.
Yeah.
That might be fun. And I think in Canada, you can do that in Canada, and people say it's amazing. So we'll have to look into it. But then, and I've never been on a cruise. Mike has, but I've never been on a cruise. So I don't know if I like that or not. But I really love a road trip. I mean, I like a plane ride just to get to where I'm going, probably as much as I like a good old-fashioned road trip. I just love a good old-fashioned road trip. I'm old school that way, but I do like to fly. I don't mind flying. My girlfriend's terrified of flying. She's terrified of flying. So when she says she's going to have a cocktail before she gets on or something. So
I had two uncles that they were flying back for a funeral from Chicago, and they before they got on the plane, they had to have several alcoholic beverages.
you have to be careful with that nowadays.
Well, this is 30 years ago, but they
Don't do it.
they just drank, and then they said that there was a flight to Pittsburgh every hour, and they were not drunk enough until a few hours later after they missed their original flight, and were able to do this.
They would get kicked off nowadays.
No, they weren't disruptive. They just had to be
So that they-
inebriated so they could.
Be comfortable to fly.
Because they were deathly afraid of flying.
Yeah, be careful with that. I don't know. I just hear all these horror stories of people flying and getting kicked off, and that they have that. What is it? Not the TSA. What's the cops that are up in the air?
Air marshal.
Air marshal. Yeah, they have air marshals that will literally drag you off a plane. I see those people getting dragged off the plane. So I'm very well behaved on a plane. I don't be dragged off a plane. But I think everybody, but 99% of the population, more than that, probably 99.9% of the population, really, is just happy to be, getting to where they're going and having a good crew on
board. We're all in the
board.
same boat, or all plane, all plane,
We're
all
all in
situations.
the same boat. No, we're all in the same plane.
Yeah, and so we're all in the same situation. So it's to get excited.
So just try to. I think be common courtesy to your fellow passengers around you and things like that. And I think a lot of it is just common sense that most people most people are sensitive and nice about that kind of stuff. But anyways, so that's our take on traveling, and we are going to have to take a train ride someplace to go somewhere. I've never done it, and it will be fun. I don't know about a boat. I'm still not 100% on a boat. I just think I get motion sickness pretty quick, and I'm not 100% sold on that yet. But we'll see. We'll see.
When I had went on my honeymoon, the first night, it was the boat was just coming off a bad storm. And so it was real rocky, and they had probably sold out all their motion sickness stuff. They had those wristbands, and they had all the
Dramamine and all that other
all the
stuff.
medicine, all that. Well, on that the next night, the second night, we went to a comedy show, and the guy says, there's 250 honeymoon couples on this flight. Did you feel the boat last night? Can you take it easy?
What is that? A ship shine and away, sit sign and away. There's a song about that too. I'm having a brain freeze. But anyway, that's really funny. Yeah. So I don't know how you guys like to travel or whatever, but whatever your trips are for the summer or coming up on vacations and stuff like that, make sure you check your airlines before you head to the airport. Make sure everything's still a good go. And hopefully if you do have any delays, it's on your way back so you can have a good trip. And that's what we have to say today. Safe travels. Oh, we have to say our little jingle I made. Do you remember it? We wrote it on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
All right.
Sip, sip, smile a lot. Coffee moments hit the spot. Okay, until tomorrow. Hang out with us. He's a good sport. Until tomorrow, like, share, subscribe to our Coffee Moments with Mike and Jay Calenda, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.